Alright guys, welcome to the video. I hope you're doing well. Today I decided to talk about a subject that it's really of interest to me. I'm always curious about how other people cut their samples, how they approach sampling. So I decided to make a video on that subject and to share my ideas on how I sample and what I search for when I'm sampling. And yeah, as I said in my previous video, there will be a link with free samples for you to get. So look out for that. Somewhere in the middle of the video, you'll get that link. So the first one, I call it the basic chop. This will be just a very simple 4-bar, 8-bar loop. And you don't need to do much here, really. You just cut the sample and then you drop a beat over it and it's pretty much done. Okay, and the video is also about not the instrument that I'm sampling. It's really about the type of cut. You can use this type of cut with any instrument, okay? The next chop that I usually look for is the one-shot sample. It's always hidden somewhere in the mix, in the beginning, at the end. There's always a sound that's lonely there in the middle of the mix. That's what I call the one-shots. And I always take those ones in as well. No. Okay, so these one hits, they don't really do much on their own. They're really meant to be played together with other chops or over other samples. Sometimes you get one-shot hits that actually make the whole song, but most of the times I'll just use these to add in over other samples just to enrich the beat. Sometimes these small bits, these small cuts can actually be the main focus of the beat, because they fit in so well with the rest of the samples. Okay, so the next sound that I look for, these are what I call the free sounds, no pun intended. I call them free sounds because they don't have any pulse to them. They don't follow any rhythm or any apparent rhythm, I should say. These are normally big sections where you have a lot of free audio for you to cut. The fun thing about these type of samples is that you can just drop a cut anywhere in between and have a good slice. It's really incredible that you can put that start point of the cut anywhere in the sample and it's going to sound great, because these type of samples, these type of chops really do have that characteristic to them, is that they're so free that you can just drop a cut anywhere and have a good sample. So what I end up doing a lot of the times with these type of samples is that I cut them in different ways. I go and use pad parameters to cut the same sample in different ways so I can get the most out of that sample. You can see me right now putting the play on the beat and just jumping with the start point of the sample to any section of the sample, and you see that any section, it automatically works just because this type of sample is so easy to cut, it's so easy to get good ideas out of. Okay, and then we have the clean phrase. So this is a loop that doesn't have any drums on it. It's very easy to cut, and you can cut it in different ways as well. Because the sample has rhythm to it, you can cut it in even sections, but really you can cut the sample any way you like. You don't need to follow any rules here. Mostly what people do in these type of samples, these type of chops, is that they evenly cut the sample into 8 slices or to 16 slices, and then rearrange those slices in the loop. But you can cut the sample any way you like. There really isn't any rule. This sample right here does have some drums on it, but it's not that extreme. You can easily mask this when you drop a beat over the sample. So I chopped the sample into 16 even slices, and then you just rearrange those slices. But as I said, you can see it here that you don't really need to cut the sample into even bits. You can go and search for the slice that sounds good to you. Sometimes I put the beat under while I'm chopping so I can hear how that slice is actually reflecting on the beat. So you may use even slices, or you can just go and search for a slice inside that sample. It's really up to you. Next up, we have the phrases. We have loops, but these ones come with drums on it as well. type of samples are harder to work with because basically they have drums already on them, so they're gonna conflict when you're trying to put them with your beat. So it takes a bit of practice to get this to work, but you get a lot of good dynamics, you get a lot of good rhythmic content with these samples, and that's why sometimes I do use them. The downside of it is that they're really hard to mix with the rest of the beat sometimes. But you know, it is what it is. It's another type of chop that I look for when I'm sampling. And I might not use the entire loop. It doesn't really, because I'm sampling the whole phrase doesn't mean that I'm going to use that whole phrase. I might just use one slice of that whole phrase. I might just use one hit to mix in with other one shots. Okay, these type of chops now, they're very interesting. These are the dynamic sections of songs. It could be jazz musicians improvising. It's just a solo kind of part where you get no apparent pulse like the free sounds, but they're not as easy to cut as the free sounds. But it's kind of like a very dynamic section of just people improvising or just freely playing their instrument. So as I said, the video is about the type of cut, so you can use this with any type of instrument. Here I'm sampling a saxophone or a trumpet, but you can use this for any instrument really. So these ones are a bit harder to cut. It's like a bunch of one shots put together, so you have to go in and surgically cut these small bits. And then they'll become one shots in your program. Okay, and to finish this off, we're going to go into a classic, which is the drum loop cut, drum breaks. Going to have a look at that as well. So whenever I hear drums, I pay attention to it. You can just cut loops like you see here. You can cut just small portions like or just go into drum solos and take bits from the drum solos as well. It also works like any other sample. you know, it's like one shots or loops or whatever. Okay, and that was the video for today. Thank you so much for watching it. Make sure you subscribe, follow me on Facebook, Instagram if you want to listen to my beats as well. And I'll be here in the next video. Thank you so much, guys. Take care. Have a wonderful day.